I'm gonna talk about the snake and the mechanic. Let me break this down for you. Mechanic, obviously you know what a mechanic is. A mechanic has a lot of tools. A mechanic has a saw, it has screwdrivers, wrenches, it has all these different things. The snake was hungry one day, and the snake happened to cipher its way into the mechanic's area. It was hungry, it was looking for food. It was trying to get to it. What so happened was the snake swindled and swerved over the saw. You know just as well as I know, a saw has teeth on the end that are sharp to cut through wood or cut through different things. The snake now swizzles how he does through and over the saw and felt the saw poked it, which the snake thought is trying to get me. It's attacking me. And if you understand snakes, you understand what they do when they feel threatened. And this is what happens to us when we're not in control over our emotions. We react to environments. If you're driving down the highway and it's traffic, you react to the traffic. Oh my gosh, I knew this was going to happen. Why so much traffic every single day? Every time I got things to do, I'm always stuck in traffic. Or you go to the airport and you go to the ticket booth, to the counter, because the flight is delayed or canceled, and you're talking to the person at the ticket booth and you're so reactive, so aggressive and angry and frustrated at this person. This person doesn't fly the airplanes. This person only works at the airlines. But you're so reactive and so angry and emotional towards this person. Just like when you're driving in the car, you're emotional and agitated and frustrated and angry and upset at traffic. Why is that? Ask yourself these questions. And those two analogies that I just gave you, ask yourself, how often do you do that? Now understand what this snake is doing. The snake is hungry. The snake is looking for food. And all of a sudden it goes through the saw, and the saw cuts it because it swindles itself through it. Now the snake gets a little agitated, irritated, and frustrated and angry. And now the snake wants to turn and bite the saw. Bites it. Now the snake is feeling the pain from the saw of biting it. Now the snake is now really aggressive, because now the snake is like, oh my gosh, this thing is attacking me. Now what the snake does is wraps itself around the saw, because that's what snakes do when they're threatened, when it's something that's putting them in harm or in danger. The snake starts to wrap itself around the saw. And the more it squeezed the saw, the more that the snake said, it's reacting, it's defensive, it's fighting back. I have to squeeze harder and tighter. Every time you're in traffic and you fight and you get angry, you get emotional, you get more frustrated, you get more emotional. Every time you're at that ticket booth, at that ticket counter, and you're reacting to that person, and all they're trying to do is help you, but you get more emotional, more aggravated, more angry, more upset. Your blood starts pumping. Your nervous system is activated. The amygdala in the back of your head is putting you in fight or flight, and all you want to do is fight. That snake is fighting because it's so angry that this saw is biting it and poking it. It's so angry and upset, and what it does is just squeeze harder and harder and tighter and tighter. Then eventually, the snake loses its life because he got emotional, because he got upset, because he thought something was happening that wasn't happening. He didn't know that he was causing the pain to himself. Just like when you're in traffic, the more emotional you get, the more upset you get, the more frustrated you get, the more emotional you get. You're causing more cortisol and adrenal to flow into your system, into your body, and it's putting your nervous system in a hijack place where your amygdala is activated. You're in a fight-flight mode, and you're constantly activating your nervous system and pumping cortisol, adrenaline, and that rush that you're getting, and you don't even know, just like the snake, because you're so emotional. You don't have the emotional intelligence. You're so emotional. Like the snake, it was so emotional. It had no emotional intelligence, not enough intelligence and awareness that I am hurting myself. Because the more I squeezed, the more tighter I got on the saw, the more it was cutting through me. The more angry you get, you don't know it's cutting through you and pouring cortisol, adrenaline in your body, in your system. And they say 90% of doctor visits are related to stress because of cortisol and adrenaline. Understand what you're doing to yourself. When you blame it on other people, remember, you're causing the harm to yourself by what you're saying and what you're doing to yourself because of the circumstances and the environment that you're in. This is all about inner peace. Come back home to you. Love you, like you, pour into you, breathe full breaths, not shallow breaths. Start working more on you, putting it all on you and not someone else outside of you. Because remember, the outside will cut you. The inside will heal you. Do I have questions here?
Why is that a good question? Is the question.
Why is that? That's a good question. Why is having inner peace important? What's the question? I don't know the question, Pops. Break the question down for me so I can give you the information back because I don't know what that question is. Because I was in my zone and I was really bringing this and I really driving this because I love that analogy about the snake because this is what we do as humans. What we do as humans, we cause this more pain. We cause more damage to ourselves because of how we speak to ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, how we think and how we act because of all the ways and the cortisol and adrenaline that we're pumping into our body, into our system. Those are stress hormones. And they put us in this fight or flight state. And if we're going to be in that, just like that snake was boom, his amygdala was activated. It was in a fight or flight, so it was fighting back, it thought. But it fought back to the point where it ended his life. And understand, if you're sick, understand if you're you have lower back pain. Understand if you have shoulders. Understand if you're thoracic. I know I'm getting scientific, but if you're thoracic, your middle of your back, your lower back, your upper back is hurting. That's a lot of stress that you're pouring. That's a lot of cortisol. That's a lot of adrenaline that you're putting into your system. And what are you going to do to release that? What needs to happen for you to be a better you? And who do you need to become in this process of becoming a better you? It's all for you. Inner peace is all about you. Inner game, what I am a master at, is all about understanding who you are internally. Because I just heard this saying. They said something like 2 billion years ago, I don't quote me on the numbers, that all the dinosaurs and everything was wiped out. The turtle survived and the butterfly survived. And I like to say that I have to be hard on the outside like the turtle, but soft on the inside and willing to put my neck out for this mental health and helping people have inner peace by using my tips and strategies of the inner game coach that I am. I'm tired of being understanding. I guess I still have to work on myself. Hey, absolutely. Working on yourself it's a lifetime process and it's a commitment, it's dedication, it's loyalty to yourself. It's commitment to yourself. It's dedicating that you're going to do this work and you're going to always be in this situation. Put yourself, every time you go out, it's a lesson. You can always learn a lesson when you're going outside. As soon as you step outside, as soon as you get into your car, as soon as you walk up the street, as soon as you get on the train, as soon as you get on the bus, as soon as you get in your car, it's all a lesson that you can learn from and to learn to be responsive and not reactive. Everything requires a responsive because we have a responsibility here on this earth to respond to our environment, to respond to people. But a lot of times we like to react to people and react to the environment that we're in. And it's always a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I do in this situation? What needs to happen in this situation? What is seeking to emerge inside of me right now? I ask these same questions for years, and I believe I am great and a master at this. The reason why, because it's repetition. I understand the repetition behind it, and I do the work every single day. It requires a commitment and dedication. That's what it requires. Decide. Oh, that's what my decide model. Fire. I decided to make a decision to be a better me. I decided that. It was my choice and my decision that I made to be better, to not cuss in 21 years, almost 22 now, to never drink alcohol ever in my life, to never smoke a cigarette or do any drugs. I decided to do that because I wanted to be the inner game master, and I wanted to master my inner game one thing at a time, break them down one thing at a time. Because when you break them down and you can put them down to your level, that means you can overcome them. That means you can accomplish things because you make it easier for you. And that's what I did. I made it easier. So work is a process. Thank you so much for the question. That was fire. Love it. Process. Work. Remember, the butterfly had to be in a cocoon first. The diamond got crushed, got pushed, got burned before it became a diamond. The butterfly had to be in a cocoon. It had to start making sounds like the queen ant to survive in the ant's den. It had to learn the environment that it was in. It had to be creative. It had to have some passion and love for itself to become a butterfly. Because once it was in the ant's den, it had to learn the sounds from the queen ant to get fed. Oh, that's powerful. Understand what you got to go through sometimes. That diamond had to be crushed. It had to be pushed. It had to be burned to become the diamond. That butterfly had to go through the wire to become a butterfly that you see flying, flapping its wings through the air, soaring. And the beauty, you say, oh my gosh, look at that butterfly. That butterfly is so amazing. You don't know what it had to go through. And you want people to look at you like, oh my gosh, look at him, look at her. Man, they're just glowing and shining bright like a light. Why? Because they went through something and they knew it was a process they had to go through. It's all a process. And when you understand the process, that's when inner game comes in, is the process. I understand the process. When people look at me, they say, I like the energy. I like how you say that. I like how you deliver. I like when you on stage. I like the content because it's the energy. I want people to say that about me. The energy that I put off, what I'm putting off, what I'm presenting, the energy, because they don't know what I went through. I was in the lion's den or the tiger's den. I've been in those dens before. I've been broken. I've been at the bottom. Statistically, I wasn't supposed to make it out the environment. But I had a different mindset. I had a vision, and I was determined. I had to be creative, and I had passion for what I do. That's why people will never understand you like you. Understand where you at today. Understand your focus. When you're laser focused and you understand where you at and where you want to get to and what it takes and what it requires. I just told you what the butterfly had to go through. It had to learn the sounds to get fed. The diamond is on fire. And you might have been through the wire. It doesn't matter. You come out shining like the light. Stop comparing yourself. The moon doesn't compare itself to the sun. The sun doesn't compare itself to the moon. Because why? They shine at their own time. Understand, you don't have to compare yourself. That's part of having inner game. That's part of being emotionally intelligent. I don't compare myself to nobody. People compare me to other people. That's how far my work is. That's how far my delivery is. That's how far my content is. Because people compare me to other people. They say, oh my gosh, you like this guy. Oh my gosh, you be saying like this. I see it like me. Because I don't compare me. Because I know the sun doesn't compare with the moon. The moon don't compare with the sun. They shine at their own times. Just like you. Stop comparing yourself. Start living a life for you and not for everybody else. Just like that old saying says, you go buy things that you don't want or you can't afford. You do things that you don't like to impress people that you don't know or don't even like. All these different things that you want to do in life. It's not about that. It's about you getting your inner game to where it needs to be, where you have peace and tranquility. That's power. That's healing. That's loving. That's forgiving. That's soaring like the eagle. Remember, inner game is all about you. When you make it about you and you take a responsibility on you, then life happens for you. And you don't call it life is happening to me. But life is happening for you. Life is happening for me. No matter what I'm going through. People say, oh, you're just trying to cover it up. Oh, you're just sweeping it under the rug. Oh, you're just suppressing it. No, I'm not suppressing anything because I'm aware of it. I just don't put any attention to it. I don't make stories. I don't create stories over it. I look at things as they are, not worse than they are. I'm not suppressing anything. I see it for what it is. And then I transcend to what I want it to be. Because I'm the creator. That's power. When you know you create. That's power when you walk in your power, when you walk in your presence. That's power. That's what I want for you. Remember, inner game is all about you, not anybody else. Stop blaming other people for your circumstances. Stop blaming other people for your situation. Start taking responsibility and owning your life for your life. And that's when you come back home and you love you and you like you and you adore you and you are excited about you. You're all about you. Because the people around you get the benefit from that. That's powerful. That's inner game. That's inner mastery. That's peace, tranquility. That's love, affection. That's healing. That's forgiving. That's power. You got this. I support you. I'm with you. But you got to believe it because your belief system is so strong. You got limited beliefs. You don't believe you can do it. Because other people said you couldn't do it. That's why you're not emotionally intelligent yet. That's why you're not loving yourself yet. That's why you don't like yourself. Because of what you've gone through, what you experienced. Who told you this? Who taught you this? Who said this to you? Who programmed you? You gotta break the cycle. Ooh, look at that. So powerful, you break the cycle. And then you open your hands to receive. Break open. Break open, receive. Break open, receive. That's what I used to have a problem with, is receiving. Now, anytime I receive, step into your power.